east of the Rockies. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. You're talking to me.
I am, yes.
All right.
Where are you?
I'm in Charleston.
Okay. Charleston,
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And I'm a police officer, and that doesn't make me more credible, I'm sure. But
yes, it does.
Anyway, I have had numerous experiences with entities, and I would probably say in my lifetime, 30 years, I would say probably 10 or 15.
How long have you been a police officer?
About 5 years.
5 years. All right.
I've had several on the job. But actually, the one I was going to talk about was what happened as a child.
Fire away.
I'm not going to waste time or anything, but when I was a child, I was about 6 or 7 years, and it was right after an experience that I had 2 years prior with a miracle with a religious person, okay?
Okay.
And we had moved into this new house, and everything that happened in this house was really odd. I remember every Halloween, every really evil thing that went on. I remember. I don't remember Christmas or anything nice in that house. Make a long story
give me any specific. We don't have a lot of time.
Well, make a long story short, I just went to bed, and I'd laid down. I was about 6 or 7 years old, and when I laid down in bed, I turned my night light on, and I laid down, and my brothers had went to bed, and they once I had laid down, I heard footsteps coming towards my door, and it's much like that other police officer had talked about.
Oh, yes.
Except the weird thing about this one was it wasn't a hazy glow or anything like that. It actually, it was, I call it a demon. But I had laid down, I had not even closed my eyes.
Could you actually describe what it looked like?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then do it.
What had happened was it stepped in my door.
Tell me what it looked like.
It was about 6 or 7 feet tall. It was a figure of a dog, believe it or not.
Oh, brother.
And it was a demonic look. It had hair. When I first saw Cujo, it had muddy, bloody, matted fur, just like Cujo had after he attacked all the people. And when it walked in, I smelled the odor of what I call pure death. If I ever smelled it again, I'd probably get sick. It walked into my room. It looked at me, and it had fangs on the front of on the bottom jaw that went straight up.
You're a police officer. You know what
absolutely.
You know what death smells like, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but I hadn't smelled that at 6 or 7 years old, and I've not smelled anything like it since. And the top fangs went straight down, had long fingernails, and it came in, it looked at me, it walked towards my bed, and the only thing I could think of to do was cover my eyes and start praying, and which I did. And it leaned over me and was
Officer, hold it right there. We're at the top of the hour, so sure. Can you afford to hold through
Absolutely.
The news?
Absolutely.
All right, yeah, good. Hold on then, please. Does it make somebody more credible if they're a police officer or a fire lieutenant like that previous caller? Yes, because these are men trained in observation. It's their job to observe and see what's going on and to observe it accurately. So yes, of course, it adds some credibility in that sense. I'm Art Bell from the High Desert. This is Ghost to Ghost AM. Again, you're going to want to check out that picture on my website, second one down. Girl either walking through a door or right in the middle of a door, manifesting right through a door. It's totally creepy. We will be back. Back to the police officer. And where are you again, sir?
I'm in Charleston.
Charleston, that's right, Charleston, South Carolina. I wanted to read this to you before you continue.
Sure.
There's a man who writes from Wisconsin. Art, it sounds like the policeman you're talking to had an encounter with Black Shuck, a spectral dog that has been reported all over the world. Demonic, question mark, that it may have been a demonic thing, and he calls it Black Shuck, a spectral dog, for whatever that's worth.
Wow. I've always wondered what it was, because I've always had experiences where I've actually seen figures. I've had doors bang. I've had a lot of things happen.
Yeah, but this thing looked like a dog, and about
this thing was actually physically there. you know, and it wasn't in the spiritual realm. It wasn't cloudy.
Misty.
It wasn't
you couldn't
misty.
see through
it was
that
in a
kind of
physical realm, and it tops my list as far as something that I could actually put my finger on, you know, and literally touch. If I had reached down, I probably could have touched it.
But of course, you don't know that for sure.
I don't know that for sure. But the thing was is that it scared me to the point where I'd actually covered up and I started praying. And I was always wondering if anybody else had that experience, or if there was something in literature.
Well, then maybe I just answered your question for you. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that myself.
But the thing that really troubled me about the whole thing is I never spoke about it. I never told my family. You know, I'm the youngest of two brothers.
Right.
You know, I never told anybody. And 7 years ago, I was sitting there talking to my brother, and the thing that shocked me, the whole situation, was we had started talking about, and he's also a police officer, and I spoke to him about, you know, old houses, and he said, I didn't like this place, and I said, why? And he said, well, I had a problem there. And I said, what was that? And he described the creature to me.
The same creature?
The same creature, and he said he was homesick, and he was laying on the couch, and he described it to a T, and I interjected periodically so he knew that I knew exactly. We both saw the same thing. Well, so we both validated it to each other.
That, my friend, thank you very much. That's as creepy as it gets. To see something, you know, perhaps demonic. I mean, you can always later sort of close your mind, right, and think to yourself, no matter how real the experience was at that moment, hey, I dreamed it. I had some, you know, some kind of hallucination, something. But when somebody else saw exactly the same thing, then your options begin to dwindle pretty far.